showing?
Yeah, no, we'll do that one. We won't no shows. No shows at the end. Show in the pocket. You definitely
What do you mean? You're supposed to be
older.
I'll take that.
I'll have that.
Oh, he's already
Not
looked.
meant to look at it.
Redraw.
I didn't look at it.
No, it's not a redraw.
You ready?
Hey! Wee! Dino, baby!
No way!
Of course!
Six. Oh, left.
I know the
Huh?
ball.
What did you get?
Three.
Yeah, Bill, where are you choosing last? 7.
Oh right,
So 1, 2,
so that whole corner you can't
3,
that whole corner on your own.
5, 6. Let's do it!
So high.
I've got a headache all the time.
Welcome to the CPUK Social. You join us down at Linbrook Fisheries down in Ringwood. You've got myself and 5 other of the team members trying to outwit these lovely scaly carp. We've got 4 days ahead of us. We've just done the walk round and the draw, and there was plenty of activity out there. So I'm sure we're in for an action-packed couple of days.
Once everyone was settled into their swim, the hard work of getting those rigs tied and baiting up those spots began. Ollie, not wanting to miss out on a quick bite, wasted no time in spomming out a bucket of dark mix, hoping to get an instant reaction. Sam also wanted a quick bite, opting for PVA bags cast to the pads. It wasn't long until everyone's rods were out, then it was all down to the carp, with anticipation running high, thoughts turned to that all-important first bite. It wasn't long until the first one was safely in the sling, and we couldn't have asked for a better fish to get the social off the mark.
Right, first one, 26. Can't remember the ounces, but on the zig, the fish were cruising all over me, so I had to get the zigs out. Bit of black foam soaked in the old hemp oil from Carp particles. What a fish to start off with the old social. Buzzing, hopefully we can get a few more. And yeah, hopefully we can get one of these 30s. Got another Hampshire banger. Beauty.
Ollie's hard work at the start paid off. Attached to fish number 2, a proper scrapper. Was he going to make it 2 for 2? He certainly was, with a scaly mirror the reward for his efforts.
Buzzing with this one, just over £24. First one I ever caught on a zig. There were loads on the top, so took advantage of it, flung out a zig, and she was away. Absolute screamer. Well made up.
Just had this 18-pounder. It's caught over a bed of our pelletizer with one of our snail meat hard hookers. First time I've used a hard hookers, to be fair. So yeah, looks like it's doing the do.
There was nothing else to report for the rest of the night, but as the sun started to rise, that was all about to change. Linbrook are known for their mirrors, and this proper scaly one certainly didn't disappoint.
There we go. Just a smidge under 24. Taking on the solid bag towards some reeds. Infused with a bit of bloodworm. Nice and silty here, so naturals is the way. A few fish coming out. Pretty good time so far, so yeah. A few days ahead of us, and hopefully we'll have some more of these little bangers.
With the bites starting to come thick and fast, Bill capitalising on the morning's action with his second fish of the session.
Fish number 2 for me. I had them both out on zigs, but they were just fizzing up and showing over me last night. I had to bring them in and put them both on the deck, and it ripped off not long after. First light, another zip Lin. We're on this Linbrook's giving us all the scaly, so hopefully we can get one of the real big ones. And yeah, we're off to a flyer. Just one more person to catch, and we've all caught one. So a couple more nights, let's get on it. Beauty.
And the action didn't stop there.
Ooh, that's not bad. That's a good fish.
That's not too bad. There's low boy.
Longy one. Big old snarl.
It's upside down for a bit now.
Unreal.
Fair play, mate.
Right, finally got my first Linbrook carp, and I'm in shape is lovely. Guess zip linear, absolutely gorgeous. Just caught a little 4.5 foot zig, just the way we've been seeing them cruising around, and off it went early hours this morning. So yeah, we'll get this one back, and I've just managed to sneak another one, and that one's a little bit bigger. Fish number 2, again on the zig, 4.5 footer, little red and black one, and yeah, rattled off. Lovely times.
The bites just kept coming. This time it was Blakey getting involved in the action. And was he going to continue the perfect start to the session? What a start to the social, and just when you thought it couldn't get any better, it did. Ollie was into his second fish of the session, and with Blakey on hand with the net, the result was always going to be one way.
Buzzing with this one. Rods were out all night over a bucket of dark mix, bit of boilie, some pellet. Left them out this morning, there's been fish all over me and it's finally ripped off. Well made up.
Yeah, first time fishing Linbrook since Paul sadly passed away, so it's nice to be back. The boys have done a really good job looking after the place, and yeah, really happy with this one. First one off the mark, chili oil soaked in the zigs, happy days.
Next up, it was Marcus's turn to battle with one of the lake's residents, and although it gave a good account of itself, it wasn't long before it was in the net.
Probably one of the smallest ones in the lake, but I suppose they all count. This one was caught on a little cold water green beast wafter over a bit of our pelletizer. Pelletizer seems to be working quite well in here. But yeah, nice little baddie. We're going to go around and chat to some of the guys and see how they're getting on and sort of how they're applying some of our bait to the lake and their tactics.
Okay, day 2 down at Linbrook, and yeah, got off to a really good start. Coming third out in the draw, really happy with that. Managed to get my second choice of swim, and there was a few fish down in this area when we got down there. So yeah, had a little lead around, didn't want to go too mad, and found this lovely sort of choddy area, presenting just a solid bag and then a little sort of wafter rig. In amongst the area, hemp and snails mix, along with boilies, and then just loads of the salmon oil. Salmon oil is great this time of year, working those columns in the water, creating that slick when you know they're there when they're feeding, because there's a lovely slick on the water. So yeah, so hopefully I can get a couple more. I was lucky enough to get 2 lovely commons this morning, and we've still got plenty of time to go. So yeah, fingers crossed we can get a couple more.
So Friday afternoon, sun's beaming down, fish are on the surface, perfect time to speak to you about what I'm doing. Come 5th out the draw, wasn't great, but I've actually had the 2nd biggest fish of the session so far between us all. So just like to speak to you about the products that I've gone for. I'm getting liners as we speak, so it could be a run kind of imminent, to be honest. Bloodworm has been the one that I've been using in my nan's tights. Just making little balls up. I haven't done it for a while. Been tipped off by a couple of guys at the lakes, literally just barren with bloodworm and massive silt patches. So naturals, fish are a bite at a time. Like I say, most lakes around us have started spawning. They haven't started spawning on here, luckily for us, and they're still doing a few bites. So yeah, bite at a time, not too much bait, nice and simple, and yeah, that's been doing the business, to be honest. It's either been pulling the fish in the evenings, or it's, like you say, just been doing the bites for me. I don't think anyone else on the lake is using naturals either, so a bit of an edge in that respect. Yeah, so I'll just talk you through how I'm tying it up. Very simple, kind of like you do with the PVA mesh. You make like an expanded section, so you can kind of see through it. Grab a bit of the bloodworm, fairly decent wedge. Whack it in there, and then, as you like, push it through with your thumb. Pull it down nice and tight. Pull out the old juices. Super rich and kind of like irony, like blood taste when you cut your finger and you put it in your mouth. Super strong. Yeah, like that. Just tie it over. I'll twist it around, pull it nice and tight. Grab some string, like you do with the old PVA bags, solid bags, and literally just wind it round. Very simple. Basically like a Brazil nut size bag of bloodworm, to be honest with you. And this forms your basic hook bait. I'm opting to go with a little yellow topper. You like sweet corn in here apparently. Yellow seems to do quite well, so that's what I'm using just to critically balance it, just to avoid it sinking in the silt, to be honest with you, and keep it raised up. But yeah, that's pretty much it, to be honest. Literally just give it a little tie off. Try and refrain from sticking it in your mouth because it is very strong. As you do. And then give it a snip. Trim off the tag ends. And there you are. You're left with probably about 15 to 20 mil kind of ball or bloodworm, which you then whack on to your baiting needle. Very simple. Whack that through, and you're basically left with that on your hook. For this, I'm using a D-rig just to keep it above the silt. And like you say, that seems to be doing well for me at the moment, to be honest. Keep it simple, fish a bite at a time, make sure what you're putting in is nice and attractive. And yeah, hopefully we'll have a few more. Like I say, 5th in the draw, so I wasn't best pleased, but it's done me a bite, 24, nice scaly one. And yeah, happy days, hopefully we can have another one, yeah.
Good afternoon, it's now day 2. Just going to speak to you about how it's been going for me. To be honest, it's been a pretty good start. I'm just chilling out at the moment, reeled my rods in, but I've had a couple, starting off yesterday morning. I was the first one to catch. Fish were sort of cruising about, and it was a bit of a strange situation because I had some fish cruising and some fizzing. I didn't really know whether to go on the bottom. It was sort of caught in two minds. So I did start off with the zigs, and shortly after it ripped off and I had this lovely 26 zip linear, which was a great start. So not much bait out there, just a little bit of black foam, wanged it out there, a couple of hours, bosh, sorted. Then, as it obviously started to cool down, more and more fizzing, the fish started to show. So through the night, I put got the spawn rod out and started putting a little bit of bait out. My favourite, this is my favourite particle from Carp Particles, the magic chili hemp. Nice and spicy and oily. And the reason why I chose to use it on this particular venue is it's very silty. There's a lot of naturals, a lot of bloodworm, and they do tend to sieve they do tend to feed and sieve out the natural little bits. And I find hemp's really good for keeping them there. It does get hammered with hemp, so adding the chili there gives you that extra little edge on the next man. Also complement it there with the nice fermented chili liquid. This stuff's really spicy, so watch your hands and your eyes if you're using it. I've had a few incidents myself, but yeah, it's going well. Going to get the rods back out a little bit later. I'm also going to take some of this and bait an edge spot, because I've seen a few fish cruising just a little bit down there, and I'm going to feed them up for a few days, and on the final day I'm probably going to have a little tickle for them before we go and hopefully nick a bonus fish. But for the meantime, I'm going to get these rods back out in a bit, hopefully catch a few more tonight. See you in the morning.
The rest of the afternoon passed without action, and as the evening drew to a close, a barbecue and a few beers were the order of business.
So, got the zigs back out, 2 out on the spot, put a load of bait out after a barbie. Chucked the zig out, they've been out on the top all day. Reeled in sort of around midday, just give them a few hours break. And yeah, she's ripped off. Haven't weighed it. And yeah, well made up. Absolutely scaly beauty.
As if like clockwork, Sam again had managed to nick a fish early morning, and it was a bit of a looker.
Okay, so the change of plan paid off. Getting that hemp and snail out last night, doused in the salmon oil, and yeah, this one ripped off early hours this morning, just on first night. So yeah, really happy. Shape of 23 pound 11. As you can see, fully scaled, absolutely gorgeous. I mean, we've all had just brilliant carp out of Linbrook, and credit to the fishery. So yeah, we'll get some steels and we'll get it back.
Well, there we go, number 2 of the reed spot. Started syringing some of that bloodworm juice out, whacking it in the solid bags, and just fishing for a bite at a time now. So yeah, wasn't expecting it to go. Pulled up tight and then yeah, just cruised in, to be fair. Nice little fish. Average stamp of fish starting to go down, so hopefully one of those bigger ones will pop out before we finish. Yeah, solid bad strip back out on the spot. Nothing else around it, and hopefully we can have another one. Right, so a bit of an update for yourselves. Saturday afternoon, just past 3 o'clock. It's been quite nice with bites today. Started off this morning, Billy had 3 cats up to 17 pound, not too big. Straight into the keep net. Ollie had a cat. Blakey's just arrived back from missing the night out because of wedding anniversary. Sam had 1 and I've had 1, lost 1, Sam's lost 1, so they're definitely on the feed, and yeah, hopefully it's looking good for another bite towards Blakey and Billy's end on the zigs as well.
No. Get away from that other rod. From there. It's not bad. It's not. It's a bit of a red one. Go on, get it in there for a shot. Nice one.
Well
done, mate. Cheers for that.
The fish was safely unhooked in the net, however, it managed to escape before we were able to do the photos. So after that disappointment, a few beers and a bit of a social were definitely in need. And then everyone got the rods back out, ready for the night.
Well, final morning at Linbrook, and it's started off with another lovely scaly one. Over the baited spot, a slight change in tactic with the hook bait, went for a little snowman, but same approach with the bait, hemp and snail, plenty of salmon oil, and a few little chops in there. But yeah, as I got this one on the net, my right hander ripped off, and that one's a little bit bigger, so we'll get this one back and we'll have a look at the next one. The second part of this morning's brace comes in a lovely 25-pound 5-ounce mirror. Absolutely gorgeous. Such good condition. 4-foot zig. Yeah, proven deadly. So we'll slip this one back. It's only 6 o'clock in the morning, so we're off at, I think, about 2 o'clock this afternoon. Plenty of time for a couple more. A few of the other lads have caught this morning, so yeah, we'll get round and have a look.
Nice common, little common. Had it on a zig. First light this morning. Lost one through the night as well, so made up for that. Yeah, they've been pretty active all morning. Can't seem to get anything off the bottom. Jigs are doing the do at the moment. Yeah, made up. Last morning now. Slowly start packing the gear up eventually, and yeah, hopefully we'll have a couple more.
And that wasn't all the morning's prizes.
Another little one. This little solid bag, swapped over from the zigs. Thought they might be on the deck. It was a bit of a cold night, and yeah, stuck a little solid bag out. Load of Daphnia, like usual. Little wafter in the bag, ripped off. Absolutely beautiful little fish. Made up with this little banger. Thank you, Linbrook.
I think we've had in excess of 20 fish now between us. Had a nice common this morning out on a zig. I'm using a dart mix as well. I've got a couple, well, I had a couple of rods on the bottom. It's called a dart mix because it's dark. I use a lot of it because a few of the waters I fish have quite a bad problem with bird life. It just gives me a bit of an edge really to stop the birds diving on top of you, sort of giving the spots away to other anglers as well. So I put a couple of buckets out, so I've had a couple of fish over that. The majority of them are coming out on zigs, so I've got 2 rods now out on zigs, 1 out on the deck. There's still a chance for a bite, and like I say, I've had a few fish now. I've had 4, I've lost a few as well, but great stamp of fish. Really impressed and had a great time. Looking forward to the next one.
Right, Blakey, talk us through the old dry Daphne. I know it's a personal favourite of yours. You passed it on to me many moons ago, and I've been keeping it a bit hush-hush, but I think it's time to tell everyone about the old special dry Daphne.
Yeah, unfortunately, they want me to talk about it, but yeah, it's just been a massive edge, I think, in my fishing for a few years. It's definitely, I think, caught me a load of fish over the last couple of years anyway. So I put it in solid bags, sloppy mixes, spod mixes. I put it in everything, to be honest. No matter what I'm doing, that goes into it.
Nice, isn't it? It's sort of some of it sinks, some of it floats sort of mid-water, and it's just, I mean, if any of you keep koi or have had fish in a tank, you put some Daphnia dried or the live stuff in and just watch their reaction. They go mad for it. You described it earlier as catnip for carp. Carp nip, but it smells very earthy and natural, but yeah, I like it in the solid bags.
Doesn't look like much, but it is the one. I buy it in bulk.
And your fish this morning, you had it in the bag, didn't you?
Yeah, had it off solid bag full of Daphnia.
It's the one. Get on it.
Get on the Daphnia.
Blakey's little hidden secret. It's out now, isn't it?
Be chatty.
Number 4 for me. This one's a little bit of a consolation prize because I had a bit of a disaster yesterday. Caught a nice 20-pound common, nice dark one. And just as we were setting it up, it jumped out of the sling because you're not allowed to retainers in here, and they're great escape. So this one's a nice little consolation. Actually, is the number 20 as a group, so we've managed to get that group target of 20. Still a few hours left. The pressure is dropping and the rain's coming in, so fingers crossed they might just churn off and we'll get a 30 before we go. But if not, this might be the last one. Pretty little scaly one. Another Linbrook banger. Fingers crossed there'll be one more chance. If not, we'll put this one back. And happy days.
Right, so that's the end of our session at Linbrook. We done quite well considering the conditions that we had. It was quite hot in the days, so not really much action throughout the day. Bites come towards the evening, early morning when it was a bit cooler. We managed to land 20 carp between us. But yeah, been a good session, good to catch up with the guys, you know, good social all in all. And yeah, a few nice carp landing.